Think about a leading thinker and a strategist who is absolutely brilliant in the real estate market. It is none other than Mr. Tom Panos.
If you do something, something happens. If you do nothing, nothing happens.
First on the order. Why? Because number one is the best one.
Be a valued agent. People pay you a commission, but it's value that they get back.
I can cope with worst case scenario.
At 1960, normally when the market was good, the hero. Normally when the market was bad, the vendor.
Let's get down, business. Back and forth with the bush.
Nice vid. I was watching that block. There's a chance every contestant on the block wants me to do their thing. There's a chance I'll do all of them. How can you lose? Right? Because I was thinking about it. Like, I had a lot of luck there. The chances of winning the block is 1 in 5, right? 5 properties, 1 in 5. To do it 2 years in a row is 1 in 5 times 1 in 5. That's basic math. It's 1 in 25. To do it 3 years in a row, I just said, no, I'm not coming there. Why would I go there? I said, I'll do 14 auctions in Sydney. I get paid for 14 auctions. I go there, I do 1. And they go, but you can win it 3 years in a row. I said, well, let's do the maths. 1 in 5 times 1 in 5 times 1 in 5 is 1 chance in 125. They are shit odds. And then they said, well, it's different. What if you do every property? I said, well, you can't lose there, can you? Right. So we'll see. And no, I don't think every property should be going to auction, which some people do. I do not believe that, not one bit. You rock up to an auction, you sit there, there's no one there, 150 apartments. You go in there and you think to yourself, oh, the agent says, oh man, I don't know what's wrong with the campaign. I said, what went wrong with the campaign? You listed a property that should not have gone to auction. That's wrong with the campaign, right? That's the truth, right? And I know that's weird coming from someone that's an auctioneer, right? Because, by the way, hey Johnny, how you going? A lot of people, they just say auctions, auctions, auctions. I'll give you an interesting stat. Auctions is 5% of my income. And it's about 10% of my life. It's such a small part, but it's in people's faces, right? The truth of the matter is that most of the time I spend is in training and conversations and Chris Gilmour's group where I do training and lots of those around Australia and New Zealand. Got a few commitments to companies, which I won't mention because they might not be sponsors here, so we won't give them. Anyway. So I was listening to Tamara, and I've interviewed Tamara in the actually in Brisbane at down the road at Bowen Hills about 2-3 years ago, and I'm listening to what she's saying, and I was listening to what Chris is saying, and I like everything they're saying is so spot on. Yet I actually know if it's so spot on. If we actually know the answers, if we actually hear them, and if it's not through Panos, it's through Fegan or Woodward or Steinway or Chris Gilmour or YouTube, the podcast, like the information is out there, right? It's not like, fucking, tell me a little bit, like we know what needs to get done, but the truth is that the majority of people sitting in this room, I might hurt you with the truth, but I'm not going to comfort you with a lie, are struggling in real estate. That's the truth. And when I say struggling, to me, struggle means that you're probably not at this level that I really would like you to be, which is red to black. By the way, that's not personal income, that's GCI. So essentially, it means that you're probably making 50 to 60, maybe 70%, depends on the model, how it's all working there. We know with lots of models now out there. $2 million is the model that and I'm going to actually, because that was a really good question, the person that asked about the structure. Because for me, real estate, I just can't get over it. People just keep going over and over again to hear, work harder, do the right thing, tell the truth, stay motivated. We fucking know that, right? Like if we hear it 150 times, is there a chance that all of a sudden it's going to work? Maybe, maybe not. If you've gone to, 7,000 training events and you're still hearing the same thing and writing it down. So for me, there's got to be more than that. There's got to be more than that. Why is it? Why is it? And I've got a good helicopter view. So there's about 75 people that I do one-on-ones that are on daily accountability. The average that they write is 1-4. The average real estate agent writes is about 300, right? So I've got this helicopter view as to why it actually happens. And what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of an insight. There's actually good testing now that you can work out. Hey, Gemma, how you going? I just saw you there. Did you do your talk today? Were you talking today? Oh, sorry, I mixed. Oh, I must have mixed the two blondes. Okay, sorry about that. That's probably what happened. I thought you were speaking today at this conference. Did you speak at one recently? No. Okay. It doesn't change what I'm about to say, so don't worry. So there is clear research that we can actually work out, and I got bad news because for some of you, you might want to sort of go quit today. Because I'm going to actually tell you there is a test that can work out the probability of whether you're going to be an absolute winner in our business. And that test is called Hexaco, psychometric testing. But most interesting, it's actually looking at one component of Hexaco, conscientiousness. And what they've studied is that people that do really well in jobs that are based on getting commissions score very high on the conscientiousness on Hexaco. Hexaco is psychometric testing, which they're looking at, the personality traits of people that are more likely to be successful. But what makes Hexaco so interesting is that the research in business of it is really, there's a lot of academic papers that say, look, that's probably correct. So let me share Hexaco with you. There are 4 components on that test. They're worth 25% each. And as I'm going through it, you're going to work out, how am I going in that regard? So, pens out, phones, iPads. Number 1 is organisation. Organisation. It appears that that first 25%, if you score high on organisation, you are more likely to do better if you're a stockbroker, a real estate agent, a financial planner, car sales, pharmaceutical sales, tech sales, if you are an organised person. Now, that shouldn't come as a big of surprise to people because you'll turn around and say, okay, organised means that you've got a to-do list. Organised means that you've got a CRM system, a reminder to do this by this time. Organisation is basically your processes and structures that you operate, and people that score high do better. That's the first 25%. I got good news. If you are ADD, ADHD, chaos, addiction to distraction, really good at starting things and shit at finishing things, there's still hope for you. It essentially means that you're going to have to move to this model, which is build a team, which we're going to talk about in a moment. Because if you've got an addiction to distraction and you're really shit at finishing stuff, right, what will happen is that, you'll be just like in total chaos mode, right? And that's not a problem if you're doing, if you've only got 1 listing a month, you can get by. 1 sets of open homes, 1 sets of callback, 1 sets of marketing, right? 1 set of hard conversations. But what happens when you start doing, like some of my clients, Teflon, 330 deals? You can't wing that. Or another client I just finished with, Megan from Place, who does about 100 deals, writes around 2.5 million. You can't do that, right? So organisation scores high. You can see that in a pilot. Pilots are organised. Check here, do this, do that. Number 2, second one. Second 25%. Diligence. Diligence is an interesting one. If you actually really look at it, it's basically your work Q, your work quotient. You know how there's IQ, EQ. There's also TQ, your ability to adapt technology, now AI and all of that, into your business. But there's a thing called work Q. Your work Q is your ability to do lots of work and not lose your shit. And be able to go to sleep and do it again the next day and the next day. And to be able to work long hours and not come back, I'm shit, I'm taking 3 weeks off, I'm going to Bali. I had a really hard 2 days. Right? So I gotta echo and support what Chris said there at the end about, look, I'm not the best person to talk about life balance, but I actually do think we have to re-look at how we look at life balance. I think we need to start understanding, don't feel guilty if you work long hours and be told by people. I had someone said, Tommy, I'm really worried about you. I go, why are you worried? Stop, smell the roses. I said, what do you mean? It's like you're working hours long, you're all over the place. I said, brother, January, I was in Byron Bay the whole month. I left for 2 days and did some conferences in Melbourne. I came back and then I left and I've been in Europe for all of February. And he's just staring at me. So he says, so what you're basically saying is you've worked like 3 weeks this year. I said, sort of. Because it doesn't look like that on social media. Well, real lives and social media lives are not the same lives, are they? We all know that, right? We all know that that happy agent sitting in row 1A business class, heading off there, looking that life's really good, is probably super fucking depressed in his life. Let's be honest, team. Talk real. What are they going to post on there? Them sitting on the toilet with gastro? They will only show you the good side of their life. What's going great in life? Look at it. Life's great. Fantastic. We're smashing it. And be very smart in the way that you do that, because I can't get over how many real estate agents get on their little market wraps on a Saturday afternoon. Hi, letting you know, a great day in our marketplace. We had 13 open for inspections. We met 150 buyers. The market is really, really good at the moment. Obviously, rates going down, or talk of rates going down is supporting the buyer energy. Fantastic. They finish their market wrap, then they get onto the phone and they start making their vendor calls. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, we had a really hard day today. Yeah, I know, it's very low, that offer. We do need to look at your price as well. Like, they've got 2 stories. What's this bullshit? Guys, you can't stuff up the truth. Stick to that one, right? It's too hard to stuff up the truth. Stick to that story, right? So, team, organisation is the first one. Number 2, did I say that one? Yep. Work, diligence. And in summary, it's the highest paid hard work, it's the lowest paid easy work. Remember that. In real estate, it's the highest paid hard work, it's the lowest paid easy work. That's why there's people sitting in this room that are probably earning $1 million, and there are other people sitting in this room that are probably earning 100 grand. Same state, same weather, same interest rates. One person is probably putting in. Now, I'm not going to tell you this. Like someone said to me, Tom, can you guarantee me if I work hard, I'm going to be successful? I said, no. Because hard work does not guarantee you success, but the absence of hard work means it's unlikely you will be successful, if you can understand that concept. And the reason why is you can work really hard majoring on the minor. You can work really hard doing stuff that you like and you enjoy, but means jack towards getting a listing or making a sale. So for me, it's not enough, but it is a requirement. And for me, we've got to relook at, we've got to start looking at work in real estate as life work integration, not life work segmentation. So in many jobs, you've got to be a segmenter. Example, if you are a nurse at a chemo ward, right? You've got to do your shift, and then you've got to go home, and you've got to have a shower, and you've got to make sure all those chemicals you're exposed to and all the sadness that you've been watching people with wigs and people in their final stages, you've got to be able to draw a line and not bring that to your house. A fireman must actually go home, have a shower, throw his hat off, throw his clothes off, and then just forget about work. But in real estate, we can be sitting at the swimming carnival watching our kids in the 50-metre breaststroke on the phone putting a deal, right? In real estate, we need to understand we might actually pop into our home at 6 o'clock, get something to eat, say hi to people, go out to an appointment from 6:30 to 7:30. I'm letting you know there is nothing wrong with life-work integration, right? And I think as soon as we get comfortable about it, the better. Let's keep moving on, team. So, organisation, work. Let me give you number 3. Perfectionism. And that's weird because a lot of people think, oh, haven't you heard people say, never let perfect get in the way of better? Well, it turns out that people that actually care about the details and worry about little shit matters. And it appears that people that care about getting things done right matter, whether it's a marketing campaign, whether it's your agency agreement paperwork, whether it's the way it does matter. Think about it. For the pilot, they've got to make sure. They've got to make sure. Oh, yeah, look, that button. Oh, yeah, should be right. It shouldn't rain this morning, mate. We'll be right? Okay? Perfectionism does matter. And then brings us to the last one. Has anyone Googled it while we've been... No? Prudence. That was the most fascinating of the lot. Prudence. So I've gone 75%. The last 25% is prudence. And prudence in Hexaco is basically the decisions that you make on your way, on your path in what you're doing. The choices that you make, because better choices, you get better actions, and with better actions, you get better results. So the pathway is important. Now, why this is useful for us is, guess what? It's not 1994. In 1994, when I was in real estate, a lot of people actually asked me, have you ever sold a house, Tom? Well, just for the record, I was probably the youngest Ray White franchisee they've ever put on. 21 years of age around 1990. So I opened up an office at a young person. So this is realistically like my 36th, 37th year in real estate. And back then, I've got to tell you, we didn't know what to do. We had no idea what to do. It was all a stand-up comedy show. We were clueless. Our biggest tool was the white pages. You got names. You'd go to the council, pay them a few dollars, they'd give you records. You used to drive it around up and down every street to see every new signboard that had gone up, and you used to mark it, gone up today, 25th of March. It's not the date I know, but 25th of March, and then you drive by the following week, still for sale, still for sale. Then, after 8 weeks, that's 60 days, wow, we got to get in front of their faces, because in the next 30 days, they're going to be sacking that agent and they're going to pick the next agent. And that is going to be who's in their face. And that was called the expired listing. So, team, the good news is in 2024, between the Real Estate Gym, YouTube, podcasts, Eric, Chris Gilmour, the information is out there, it's everywhere. We can make better decisions. We know the formula. But the formula's really weird, because if we know the damn formula, like, before I go on, let me tell you, think about this. I want to show you how Hexaco looks in action, why you've got to nail all 4. Where's the airport from here? Which way is it? Can someone point in the direction towards the airport? That way? That's the airport. Okay, that's the airport. So let's assume Hexaco. I am organised. I'm really organised. So I wake. So let's assume my job is get to the airport, Tom. You've got to walk to the airport. Let's assume that's the goal. Walk to the airport. So I'm organised, right? I'm organised. What do? I get my Brooks Glycerine shoes, which I know are going to be the most comfortable. You like Brooks Glycerine? It's a top shoe, right? You like the Brooks Glycerine shoe, you organise, you get yourself, right? Perfect, okay, excellent. Number 2, perfectionism. That's it. So I'm going to work my stride. This is how it's going to be. I'm going to leave 1 metre in between, and I'm just going to go all the way. So that's going to be the perfect stride to get there. Beautiful. Next one, diligence. It's going to be pouring rain, but you know what? I'm going to push through it. It's only water, because when I get to the airport, that's it. I'll forget about all the pain that I went through going through that water. So I've scored high in all of those. But let's assume that my decision making, the last one, prudence, you all told me to go that way. I decided to go walk that way. I'll be walking that way for the rest of my life to get to the airport. So it does actually matter. So what I'd love to do, team, very, very quickly, is to run through what I think the formula is for real estate success. Here it is, basically, in summary. The first 2 to 4 years in real estate are chase, hustle, right? It's down here. I'll be honest with you. It's here. And I've got to tell you, it's hard. Because you're going to be interrupting strangers who don't want to talk to you. How you going? Who don't want to talk to you. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be ringing up. Hi, Richard. It's Tom Panos here from... real estate. Take you off the database? Yep. Oh, you told us before and we haven't? Yeah. Okay. All good. Yeah. No, you won't have to tell us again. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. So you get that call, right? We're going to have to learn to live, because can I give you the definition of prospecting? It's learning the art of gentle interruption. That's prospecting. That is prospecting. The only difference is in the early stages, it's really cold interruptions. As it gets better and we get more known, it's warmer interruptions. Example, cold interruption. Hi, can I speak to Chris? It's Tom Panos here. No. Okay, great. Not interested? Thank you. Hang up. Now let me give you... Oh, by the way, let me give you the phone call I used to use over in my days in real estate. It's a white lie. It's not a black lie, right? I used to use this technique. And a guy said to me this morning that he saw me. I was at that conference for our Real Estate Gym Plus members, and he said to me, Tom, you've only mentioned it once. I've been following you for like 25 years. You've only mentioned this once. He goes, you should actually tell people about that call. This is what I used to do. I'd ring up people from open homes 2 months before, because I knew there's always one vendor that comes through an open that acts like a buyer. And they don't say too much, but they're coming to suss out the market. Hands up if you agree that potential vendors do go to opens. Okay. But we don't know how to get it out of them. So what I would do, apart from asking good questions at the open, is 2 months later, because the research, and REA says it, the research shows that people will go 2 to 4 months prior to listing their property to an open to see what the market's doing. So what I used to do is ring back 2 months before, the people from 2 months. Hey, it's Tom Panos here from the real estate. You came through a property about 8 weeks ago, and I've just noted here to give you a call because you said to me you'd be getting your place ready to come onto the market soon after. It was the mistake call. This is what they used to say to me. No, that's not me. Or some people used to say, nah, we've sold. I used to get the shits at that. But occasionally they used to say, it's not on the market yet, and we're planning not to do anything till later on. Oh, great. And you'd get into a conversation. It's called the mistake call. I used to do the mistake door knock as well. Hi, it's Tom Panos here from the real estate. I know that you're busy and I'm going to be brief. Always say that to people because they can't say that back to you. You don't say, I'm busy. Oh, I've just told you. Right? So I used to go and door knock. Hi, it's Tom here from the local real estate. I know you're busy. I'm going to be brief. Look, there's someone in this patch of the street that's about to put their home on the market. I don't know who it is, but I've been told, oh, no, it's not us. I think probably across the road. Check those guys there. Like, the old man just died. It's probably them. The kids have come over from Narromine. They're sort of come over cleaning it up. Fucking great. I just used to go in and make mistake door knocks all the time. People love to help you. And say this to them. Could I ask you a favour if you can help me? Everyone wants to help, man. So please, use that. Anyway, team, Have a chat amongst yourselves for 30 seconds. Why do you reckon, and I've got the research, why do you reckon people fundamentally in their first half of their life, their first 3-4 years of real estate, struggle with actually being on the chase and making lots of prospecting calls? Have a chat amongst yourselves for 30 seconds. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. 15 seconds left. Go, go, go. Okay, team. Let's get some shout-outs nice and loud. Some shout-outs. Fear of rejection. Oh, they're not nice to me. I rang them up. They weren't nice. Right? Fear of rejection. Like, whoopie-doo. Why? They don't even know you. Why take it personally? They don't know who you are. Why would you take it personally? Right? Next. Lack of confidence. No one, yeah, that's it, that lack of confidence. So they come to Accelerate, they hear, make sure you do 10 calls before 10 a.m. every day. 10 calls before 10 a.m. Do that. By the way, that's a good ritual to have. Anyway, so you go back to the office. Okay, I'm going to be a speaker like tomorrow was next year. I'm going to crush it. That's it. I'm going to hit those phones like she was in the early stages. Let's hit the phones. So this is what actually happens. Okay, let's go here. Let's call this guy here. Who's this guy here? Firstly, they're all over the place. Some are on stick notes, some are on pieces of paper, some are on your CRM system, some on your mobile phone. You eventually find a number. Peter Rasco. Peter Rasco. If I call him, he'll say that. I'll say that. I'll just give him a try. There. Blah, blah, blah. Hi. Peter, it's Tom Panos here from the real estate. How are you? Good? Yeah, I'm just giving you a call. Why am I giving you a call, actually? That's right, 10 calls before 10 a.m. You're my first call before 10 a.m. Like, there's no thinking behind the call. And you're not confident. And I'm going to cover that in a second because I've got to tell you, powerful lists equal powerful results. And make sure that when you sit down and make your calls, you've got a piece of paper or something that's got the name, the number, and the reason why you're calling them. You will flip through those calls really, really fast. So confidence is, and I don't think people are trained. Like, why wouldn't you just run a 5-day course at the Real Estate Institute in Queensland, how to use the phone? Mate, that's all we're doing every day. I mean, think about it. We're glorified telemarketers that get paid big money if we do lots of those calls. That's all it is. We get really, really, hung up about it. So at the end of the day, we're working out no confidence. What was the other one? Rejection. They weren't nice to me. And you know what happens in real estate? Agents, they're so soft. Fucking one person's not nice to you, and straight away you want to go to your colleague, let's go get a cup of coffee and talk about the Roosters game. You know why you're laughing. It's only funny when it's true, okay? That's why you're laughing. So team, is there any other reasons why people fundamentally suck at prospecting? Dialogue. They don't know what to say. So why don't we do, actually, let's do that. Let's do some calls, okay? Let's do some calls. Tape these if you want. Tape them so you can listen to them over and over again. Call number 1. Let's do first call. First call is the leftover buyer from an auction last night or from a property that I sold that they missed out on. Here's the first call. It's the leftover buyer. Hi, can I speak to John? John, Tom Panos here from the real estate. I know you're busy and I'm going to be brief. The reason I'm calling you is because what happened is 47 Smith Street has just sold for 1.5 million, right? I know we're all knocked off our feet, but the story gets better. There was a guy that wanted to buy it as well, missed out by half an hour at getting the contract to us. He's just left my office. He is devastated. He's crying. He's emotional. He's vulnerable. You get the drift? He's going to pay top dollar on something very soon, and everyone is going to be laughing at him in our marketplace. The reason I'm calling you is, should I mention your home to him? That is how you can fast track some people from 6 months. How you going? Good to see you. From 6 months to fast track them. That's the leftover buyer call. Let's do another call. Expired listing calls. Hi, Chris. Tom Panos here from the real estate. I notice you've been on the market for some time. What's happening there? That's good. Empathetic, curious, right? Or do what Teflon was doing in his early stages. Hi, it's Josh Teflon here from Australian Real Estate. I notice you've been on the market for some time. I hope it's going good for you and I hope you get top dollar. I'm only reaching out to you because I wanted to see whether you wanted to spend 5 minutes sitting down, and I hope you're open to it so I can show you how we've been selling properties in 3 days that other agents had for 3 months and couldn't sell simply by using our retargeting passive aspirational buyer strategy. And they would say, what? And you'd say, it's simply a way that we sell real estate that just doesn't rely on real estate and domain, because they normally give you a very rational buyer. I want to show you how we can get an emotional buyer that'll pay 10% more than what your home's worth. I'll explain it to you when I sit down with you for 5 minutes. Would tomorrow at 10 o'clock be okay, or would you prefer 5 p.m. in the afternoon? The goal of an expired listing call is simply to get an appointment, nothing else. Not to sit there and say, they're shit, we're better. It's get into the door, which, by the way, is a major KPI. It's roughly 25 appraisals a month you've got to be going to write $1 million in fees. That's based on the data of my gym members. 25, they can be price updates or immediate sellers, because we all know that listing presentations, they're not always selling, right? You go there and you realise that it's a 1-year listing, right? But it's roughly 25. So far I've given you a just listed, no, what have I given you? An expired listing call, a leftover buyer call. Let's do a just listed call, very simple call. Hi, can I speak to Chris? Chris, it's Tom Panos here from the real estate. I know you're not selling and I'm going to be very brief. By the way, when you're making your just listed, just sold calls, always say, I know you're not selling and I'm going to be brief. The reason I'm calling is because, and the reason why is they are the 2 biggest shrug-offs in real estate. Oh, but we're not selling. Or we're busy. They can't say it if you've actually told them those 2 things yourself, right? So your just listed call is, hi Chris, it's Tom Panos here from the real estate. I know you're not selling, I'm going to be brief. The reason I'm calling you is because, oh, you're holding hands. Are you boyfriend, girlfriend? You are. Or is this something that's flourishing today all of a sudden? All of a sudden. It does happen in conferences. It does, because, you know, real estate conferences, Chris, are one of the few places that, because real estate agents, unlike me and other people that work jobs that you do have to go to different places, with real estate people, it's a geographical job. You stay there. So the truth of the matter is that all you do is go to work and come home. So conferences are a fantastic opportunity for people to... Which, for the record, I'm totally against. A lot of people, you know, my best videos that go up online in the last 6 months have been videos that include family members. It's really, really weird. Like a lot of people, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I didn't realise you had kids. Oh, I didn't realise, oh, were you separate? I thought maybe you're gay or something. No. I've got people that just don't want to be in videos, mate. That's it. For the record, been married 32 years. 32 years. And I've got to tell you, man, it's not easy, but it's absolutely worth it, 100%. By the way, pretty much everything in your life that's hard is better down the track. Fitness, your kids, growing your rent roll, growing a team. Good things take time, shit things happen in an instant. Think about it. That plane crash happens in an instant. It's the truth. And that's why, you know what, people get there. Look, I got 2 daughters that are Gen Zs, right? This thing, mate, I got to tell you, you know, I've had it with people because I got to tell you, when I was brought up, and sorry, we've got a lot of, you know, few Gen Zs here. When I was brought up, I had total respect for my employer. They're paying me money. That's a big thing. Anyone that pays money for you and your family is a big thing. I was totally respectful. Now, I think part of the problem is low unemployment. Low unemployment basically says to someone, if I'm not happy and I'm not getting my way, I move on to the next employer, right? So that to me, also the social media, quick gratification probably hasn't helped. I can have things and I can have things now. And that's why we've got a bunch of real estate. I've got to tell you, man, if you are under 30 years of age right now, if you're under 30 and you are hungry and you're prepared to go through the process, you're going to smash it because the competition is so soft, man. It's so soft. This is a gold. Chris, do you agree? This is the goldenest there's no such word. This is the... What, gold? Most gold. This is the most gold. That actually sounds worse than what I said. Like, if you're on TV, you could get away. This is a goldenest opportunity. Or if you said, oh, this is the most gold opportunity. What would they say? Stands at my, oh yeah, great, thanks for coming on the show, right? Okay, team. Anyway, a bit of metal cul-de-sac and I can't get out. Let me think, what will I say next? Yes. Is there anything else on, so just listed? Let's do the just sold call. Hi, can I speak to John? John, it's Tom Panos here from the real estate. I know you're not selling, I'm going to be very brief. Number 47 in your street has just been sold. I want to let you know it has now changed the rhythm in RP data. Your home has a new value. When I come over for 7 minutes tomorrow, I'll be able to show you what the new value of your home is. Would you prefer 5 o'clock or would you prefer 10 o'clock? Oh, we're not selling! Oh no, we're not doing a valuation. We're just giving you a simple health update to show you how much equity you're sitting on based on this new sale. Should we do it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon? Guys and girls, I'm telling you, more appraisals equals more money, end of story. Your job in real estate is to get into more doors. Yet we still have so many real estate agents majoring on the minor, going up on their social media, putting up some story on Instagram and feeling really chuffed about themselves because 3,000 people viewed that story. Like, whoopee-doo. Someone in Egypt that runs a coffee shop is not going to list their house with you in West End because they saw your story. Seriously. Like being famous on some of these platforms is like being rich in Monopoly. It doesn't matter. I see these guys, they come over, these young podcasters come over. Hey, Tommy, we're going to do this podcast, this and that. Yeah, shoot this video, this and that. Oh, mate, you want to go get a cup of coffee? Yeah, let's go, mate. They've got no money to even buy coffee. Team, let's run through the team. Firstly, most of you here are level 1 agents. So we've done just listed, just sold, anniversary call. We didn't do an anniversary call. I'll just do an anniversary call, get it out of the way. Hi, what's your first name? Elle. Hey, Elle, it's Tom Panos here from the real estate. Happy birthday. I know it's not your birthday, but it's your house birthday. 5 years since you bought your home. And I wanted to let you know that for some reasons, we haven't been giving you your yearly health update, but I have now ticked the box on our system. That's going to happen, and that's going to start straight away. How open would you be for me? I love that word open. How open? You know why? Because no one wants to be a narrow-minded bigot. So when you say, how open would you be? How open would you be for me to pop in and give you that? And that way we're going to make sure it happens all the time. And by the way, team, one of the reasons I did so well in real estate is I learned something very, very important early on in my life. And that is that every time I sold a house, I, at settlement, also created an appraisal out of it. Very simple. I sell you a house. I show up to the final inspection before settlement. I give you a gift. I spend 2 hours there with you. Whereas most agents are sitting on the phone, yeah, you have a look through, yeah, come pick up the keys tomorrow. Little do they know that peak end effect is the most important part of the relationship. Peak end effect is a scientific validated concept that people will remember the end more than anything else. You go on holidays, you remember the last 3 days. You listen to my talk, you'll remember the last sentence on what I said. You dealt with a buyer, that buyer remembers what, how was they like right to the end. So what I used to do is give them a gift, and then I'd say, as of tomorrow, when it settles, you move from being a buyer to a VIP client. And as a VIP client, you get a yearly health update on your asset. Let's book it in now. I used to go to my calendar, book it in for 15 minutes. And guess what? You sell 50 properties in a year. The following year, you have 50 appraisals already in your diary. Pop-in visits. The second year, you sell another 50 properties. How many appraisals have you already booked in? 100. In your third year, you sell another 50, which you'll probably sell 70 because normally you start writing more. So by year 5, you should have 200 appraisals locked into your diary. At a cancellation rate of 25%, you still got 150 people. You're going in there, enjoying it. Life is good, not sitting behind the CRM system, right? That's what you've got to start doing if you're not doing it. Start booking in appraisals. That's what's called creating a raving fan business. Who likes that concept? Show of hands. Start doing it. Should have done it 20 years ago, but now's the next best time to do it, okay? So team, let's keep going, Looking at the time, has it been a useful 30 minutes so far? Show of hands. Beautiful. Let's keep going. So basically, I use these images. Red PA is an admin-based person. They're normally doing things like, in fact, there they are. Team, take your phones out and take a quick photo. This is called swim lanes in real estate. Swim lanes in real estate. This is what the lead agent does. This is what the admin person does. And this is what the blue person does. And a blue person is often called an associate these days. Sometimes they call it a co-agent. Sometimes they call it an associate or a blue PA, but EA. But I've got to tell you, what that real job is, this job here, is prospecting and buyer work. That's what that job is. And I now tell people, your first person, with all the tech that we have, your first person should actually be a blue person, not a red person. Don't put people on unless they're going to produce income for you. End of story. Right? And this person here, their day should be 20% admin, 40% buyer work, and 40% prospecting work getting you into appraisals. And when you start moving into this model of having an EBU, and you've heard me say it, the pilot does not serve drinks on an aeroplane, and you shouldn't be doing all the stuff under red or blue. You should do it till you get to 2 or 3 sales a month. And then when you want to go up, you've got to build your team. So recently I had a bit of a small cancer scare. Everything's a cancer scare when you've had cancer 3 times, right? So everything is like, let's get it checked out. So I had a cancer scare, so they had to do a biopsy. It wasn't cancer, but which is pretty excited about. So it was really interesting because I go in there, and here's the process. You go in there. First one is there's a lady there in admissions. Fill out. Takes you 10 minutes to fill out a form. You leave there, and then a nurse comes and sits with you in another room and checks your pulse rate and various things. You leave there. You leave there, and then the next thing you know is some orderly comes over. It was this big guy who should have been playing rugby union, right? Looked at him there, tats everywhere. He's the orderly. He's the guy that wheels you in to operating surgery, right? He says, there you go, mate. You all good? Yeah, mate, all good, yeah. Great, beautiful. Takes you in. Then you're in there. Then the next thing is an anaesthetist comes down. Hi, how you going? My name's Dr. Gerber. I'm your anaesthetist. Fucking, it's a cast of thousands, right? And all you're thinking is, I've come here for a doctor, right? So that person talks to you, asks you if you've got any allergies, and then says, I'm going to give you an injection, blah, blah, blah. Then you notice that they put the thing in and they start injecting, and then all of a sudden, the doctor comes along. Hi, Tom, how you going? Good. In a few minutes, you're going to slowly fall asleep, and that's the fucking end of it. That's it. Finished. Wake up. They give you these sandwiches, soggy sandwiches, you know, and Prima juices or whatever. They're still selling those things. Okay, and yeah, they say ring your doctor tomorrow. He'll tell you what the next steps are. So the doctor just comes in for the most critical bits. The pilot is there for the critical bits. The real estate agent is there for the critical bits. Going to listing presentations, having tough love conversations with your vendor, telling vendors what they need to hear, not what they'd like to hear. The other people in your team can't do that. It's not easy to go sit in front of a vendor and sort of have these hard conversations. The lead agent is also putting deals together. The lead agent is managing the team. So this is where you've got to move towards team. Now, when you have a team, I've got to tell you, you've got to start moving away from being a real estate agent to actually being a team leader as well. Because you can't just list and sell and just say to yourself, guys, work it out, do what you want to do. Go on, there's a new series on Netflix, watch that today. See you later, I'm going out to list. Right? You can't do that, right? You've got to actually start your day. And I've got to tell you that for me, it's very simple. You do a review every morning. It should be like a hospital. You go to a hospital at change of shift, they've got their meeting. It's called a work in progress meeting. What they do is they stand up. They don't sit down on a boardroom having Krispy Kreme donuts and coffees coming in. It's 5 minutes standing up. Okay, fantastic. How did we finish up yesterday? What are you going to be doing today? Beautiful. What prospecting calls are being done? What is the buyer work that are being done? Okay, what's settling today? What's going to have a signed contract? What ads need to be done? Beautiful. Fantastic. Anything else? Excellent. Great. Get to work. That's it. 5 minutes, it sets the tone, a work in progress meeting. Now, of course, if you've got other mechanisms, including a WhatsApp group where people are putting in at the end. So if I were to pull out my mobile phone here and show you through my Quenza and my WhatsApp, a lot of people that are sending in results, all I care about when I'm managing a standalone agent is number of calls, number of connections, number of maps, market appraisals booked, number of BAPs, number of buyer payments booked, and the last one is energy. 10 is the highest, 0 is the lowest. And I measure that. Why? What you measure, you manage. And real estate, don't get me wrong, we're not digging holes, but let's be honest. We go from the heights of exhilaration to the depths of depression like in one day. One phone call. Mate, at a listing presentation, we go from the heights of exhilaration to the depths of depression in a second. We're sitting there and they're saying, yeah, we've bought elsewhere and we really need to sell it. We're really high up here. Beautiful. You're celibate. Beautiful, right? You can't control yourself. This is I've got my Form 6 here. And then they say, so yeah, we really got to get it on. Like the sooner the better. We've got another 2 agents coming in this afternoon as well. I think, fuck, your emotions are going down in that second. You're gone from there. And then you say, but you've sold 3 properties in this street and yeah, like we know you saw most of it, and all of a sudden high again, right? And then you sort of say, so can't we just get... Oh, no, we've got the other 2 agents coming. Oh, then you go back down again, right? So, team, I've got to tell you, business management is emotion management, 100% emotion management. And for me, one of the most important qualities that I can see you, and Chris brought it up before, we often don't talk about what actually is the mindset you need to do 100 deals a year. And for me, one of them is absolutely critical, impermanence. Impermanence. Any Buddhists here? Show of hands. Okay. So Buddhism has a philosophy called impermanence, that nothing is permanent, that everything is changing. When I walked into this room at 10 to 2, my fingernails have been growing since then. There are cells that are dying and there are cells that are growing in my body. Everything is always moving. When things are good, right, I'm letting you know that sooner or later they're going to go from good to shit. And when things are shit, I'm letting you know, I've got good news for you, they're not going to stay shit. So impermanence basically says, don't get attached to things because they're not going to stay like that forever. Just understand that things are always moving. And that's why, team, what Chris said before, you have a bad day, you lose a listing, you lose a sale, and you carry it with you for 2 weeks. No. No. You have a bad day because you lost a listing and you lost a sale. You never make a bad day a bad week. That's bad business. Or you've had a shit week. You don't make a bad week a bad month, or a bad month a bad year. Or someone said to me, Tom, how does it feel like 3 times you've taken a year off to do chemotherapy, 06, 016, 018? You know, how does it feel? I said, man, listen, it wasn't a great year, but I've got to tell you what, it doesn't define my life. That was a chapter of like 80 chapters. And I've got to tell you, it's not the end of the book. And I think it's really important to become Teflon because we are going to get punched in the face. We are going to get rejected. We are going to have people that are going to say, I'm going to give you the listing. Yes, I'll call you tomorrow and let's get it going. And they don't ring you. And then you ring them and they don't return your call. And then one day you think, stuff it, it's been 7 days, I'm just going to ring off a private number. Funny because it's true, remember? Okay? And what happens is you ring and they say, Oh, how you going, Tom? Yeah, good to hear from you. Yeah. I've been meaning to ring you. You were amazing. And you can just feel it's coming. And I've got to let you know, thank you for everything that you've done. And look, my husband plays golf. We've heard that story, right? We know where it's going. Team, we've got to get comfortable with these things. Factor them in. Factor in. Factor in flights are going to be running late. Factor in that you're going to get the occasional parking ticket. Factor in that you're going to have one vendor every so often that's going to drive you nuts. You know the one that when the phone rings, you feel like actually headbutting the phone when you, right? You know the vendor that says every time you say something, you say, yeah, this is what's happening. Yeah, my mate's good mates with the CEO of ANZ Bank. He reckons the market's going to pick up, actually. You know how I put a sale together on Saturday after auction? It was so detached. Be detached from the outcome. Chris, it's funny we're having it on this day. 30 years ago, thereabouts, on this day, it was the Thursday before Good Friday. It's the same time. I'm in Sydney. I'm in Newtown. I'm selling a property. I was supposed to leave at 1 o'clock and be home to do the drive from Sydney to Byron Bay. I was going to Byron back 30 years ago. I loved it. And it was our 4-day getaway for Easter. And I'm sitting there and my wife is ringing me up and saying, hurry, hurry, hurry. And I'm sitting there at this property at Watkins Street, Newtown, and there's a buyer looking at it. And I'm looking, and I'm thinking, I've got to have a look through, guys, have a look through. And we come out, all right, guys, beautiful, stay well. I didn't even ask him if they, I said, stay well. And they go, we're interested. All good, give us a buzz on Tuesday. Huh? Call me on Tuesday. And you know what happened there? They go, but what if it sells? I've always had an approach. I said, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. I was only repeating to them what they've been saying to me for years. You know, that's what buyers say. If it's meant to be, it'll happen, right? So team, you know what made me realise? The more I didn't want the deal, the more they wanted the deal. Care, but not too much. You know how many times that happens to me at auctions on Saturday? I finish off a property, I did it on Saturday, finished off the property, I go, mate, the buyer, it's not going to happen, we're 50 grand short. Bad luck, all right? He goes, all right, well, you know where we're at? I said, no worries. I said, anyway, I'm going to go. He goes, where are you going? The buyer. I go, where am I going? To my next auction. He goes, yeah, but we're negotiating here. Well, we're the highest. I said, we've done that. We're still short. He goes, okay. I said, but anyway, I want to thank you a lot. Guess for what? I said, our vendors, they were up in the clouds till you came along. Your negotiation has got them down 100 grand. So the agent should be very grateful because on Monday, they're going to put it on realestate.com. It's going to sell like that. And the buyer's sitting there thinking, what? Our negotiation is going to help another person buy the home we want. So you wouldn't believe what happens out of the blue. You know when a random people just walk in right at the end? Like it's like they've just landed out of a helicopter and they just walk in. Can we have a look through? Yeah, sure, no worries. Because straight away I think to myself, social proof. Get them inside the house. Have a look. Can we take, yeah, have a look. Yeah, sit down. Sit on the sofa if you want. So there we have a buyer, the underbidder outside. We've got another person that's sitting on the couch. And I've just told them that thanks to them, they've been able to get it down to a price. I left that property. I got called by the agent. They sold it. They sold it that afternoon. I've got to tell you, social proof is very useful, where you actually have another person there, which says to me, smart agents always do multiple buyer inspections. You've got an appointment at 4 o'clock, have another buyer there at 4:15. It gives you power in your negotiations. Let's keep going, team. We've got about 5 minutes left. Team, once a week, your EBU needs to have a proper meeting. That is where you're doing stock control, and that to me is the perfect agenda for when you're having your EBU meeting. Now, let's keep going. I'm going to miss... I know what you're thinking. Bring the booze out, boys. Let's get the drinks out. Top night. Actually, this might... All right, relax, man. Fuck it. It's hard to find good attendees these days. Okay, so... Can I move slides? Okay, isn't this fascinating? Red wine. See that bottle? Go to Dan Murphy's. You'll get it for $1,050, $1,100. That bottle there, that's the Grange. This here, 5 litres, $19.99. They both get the job done. Okay. They both get the job done. They both will make you feel okay. The interesting thing is, when they do wine studies, you know what they find? Something fascinating. That people look at the label and their taste buds mirror the label. Oh yes, beautiful. I can, all those black currants, beautiful. But you know what they do? They take the label off and swap, and they put a cheap label, but they keep the Penfolds Grange in there, and they put in like a cheap label, $10 bottle of wine. Oh yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, shit wine. And then you sell them. Look at what's happened. Why is this fascinating? Because wine, like water, that's odourless liquid there. That's all it is. But one of them you buy for $20, one's tap water you get for free. What it is its perceived value. What do we do in real estate? We take an asset and make it look beautiful. We actually put it into a Pellegrino kind of look. That's what we do in real estate. And a lot of people struggle at explaining this to vendors when they're talking about marketing. All they're saying is, we need to get more buyers through the property. No, we also need to make your property look dearer than what it is. This is a good piece of dialogue, I'd hate to have your $700,000 property sitting in a $300,000 ad size. That would confuse the market. That would be like having a Porsche sitting in a Toyota car lot. That would not be a good look. By the way, a really good piece of dialogue for vendor paid marketing is, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, are you looking for a house price maximizer or are you looking for a marketing minimizer? Because you can't have both. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I've seen a lot of owners lose tens of thousands of dollars at the time of sale because they tried to save a few $1,000s at the time of listing. Let me show you how to avoid this simple mistake. So team, this guy here is worth reading about. He won the Nobel Prize in 1979 for behavioural economics, Daniel Kahneman. He studied something quite remarkable. People feel more pain losing $1 than pleasure winning $1, which essentially says that whenever you're talking to people about real estate, okay, if I'm talking to Chris Gilmour about marketing, I'd say, Chris, what's more important to you? The risk of over-marketing by $4,000 or the risk of underselling by $50,000? So what will happen is the pain of losing 50 triggers him more than the pleasure of winning 50. Does that make sense? If I went to the casino tonight, I would feel more pain losing $1,000 than pleasure winning $1,000. Use this information in your negotiations. Team, the last thing
我必须在此刻告诉你，现在有一群供应商希望，有些人甚至相信。有些人甚至非常确定利率会下降，我希望他们确实降息，但是如果你认为他们会在14个月内连续降息13次，那是不可能的。我们可能会有一个或许2个具体取。
Okay, team, my advice is learn different. A lot of people think that's AI. Oh, I mean. Mate, let's do a subject. Let's do market. That's a market rap. Let's do a market rap in Greek. Καλησπέρα τα ακροατές. Σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ που ήρθατε στο σπίτι. Με 15.000 μπορούμε να βρούμε ένα ωραίο σπίτι που μπορείς να το χτίσεις, να το κάνεις πολύ ωραία. Δυστυχώς οι μαρκέτας έχουν πέσει ο τόκος τώρα 15%. Right? That's very shit Greek. Team, write that, H-Gen. My market raps. Last week I did it in Cantonese. This week I did it in Korean. There's some guy there on YouTube. He goes, for those of you that don't speak Korean, I actually speak Korean. I'll explain it to you. This is what he's saying. Then he went off and sent me a direct message. He goes, if you want, I can translate for you. Very nice. He said, do it for nothing. Team, take a photo of that. Beautiful letter. A lot of my gym members have been getting a lot of appraisals. What you do is you get the vendor to write a letter when you've sold the house. And you get the vendor to write a letter to their neighbours that you use at a letterbox drop. Hi neighbour, I live at number 108 in our street and I'd like to let you know that we'll be moving soon. Our home has just sold for an amazing price and I was blown away. In case you're curious about how much your home could be worth, I highly recommend chatting to Tom from X Real Estate. I knew Tom would be professional, blah, blah, blah. You get it. You get this letter and you do a drop. It will get you into more doors. Why? Because people listen to their neighbours more than they'll listen to a real estate agent. Team, I am running out of time. I'm going to let you know that take a photo, great text message to send to your chase list. This will get people engaged with you, right? And I'm going to finish off very, very quickly. This one here. Try this. Send that to your chase list. Could you finish this sentence for me? If I could sell my house for blank, I would list my home this March. I can't wait to hear your answer. That is basically throwing out a fishing line to see who's going to engage. And I know you'll get some people that are going to reply back and say 5 million. But we've got into the conversation. Team, by the way, I'm going to finish off in a minute. Those of you that have enjoyed and can't afford a coach, can't afford monthly training like Chris and his team do, but want to get a taste of everything, scripts, dialogues, I'm going to let you know, you scan that, Real Estate Gym, it's $650 a year or $68 a month. I'm not ashamed of promoting it because I've got to tell you, to me, the worst that can happen is at the end of the day, you lose 650. See, I'm going to use this line on you. The worst that can happen is you lose 650 bucks. The best that can happen is you might become one of those people that's writing 1.3 at the moment. And my final things is I want to thank you so much for being here. I've got to tell you, I've just got this total attitude of gratitude of being able to be healthy, to come in, to talk to people that work in a great industry. I'm just, listen, we all cop punches in the face. My hardest year was 2018. Actually, it was my hardest day. I got diagnosed with cancer the same 48 hours as my young brother dying. And that is a difficult thing to do. It's difficult to go to a funeral, to be sitting there in the front row representing your family, because I got very old parents and I got no other siblings. My brother had no wife, so he was single. And to sit there, thanking people for coming in and knowing that there's a good chance. I've got to be honest with you, I thought I was going to die because I thought to myself, how many times can you actually overcome cancer? I thought 2 times, I'm lucky, 3rd time. And I've got to tell you, I remember leaving the funeral. I remember doing my last Real Estate Gym event in New Zealand, and I just was absolutely certain as I was getting off that flight that was the end. I knew. I actually remember picking up my bag out of the plane, and a lady that had been sitting on the other side of the aisle was watching me. I was crying on the flight back because my parents weren't there. There was no agents, no relos, and I could just be myself. And it just I just grasped the concept of worst case scenario is I'm going to die. Best case scenario is I'm going to live, but I'm going to be stricken with the death of my brother, who's my best mate. My brother was my best friend. And as I was crying on that flight, a Kiwi woman sitting in the other aisle, she was watching from afar. And I remember at one stage, I looked and she was staring at me, and I opened up my iPad and I made it look like I was watching a sad film, because I was embarrassed. She didn't buy that. When the flight landed, I pick up my bag, I get a tap on my shoulder, and it's that lady. She hands me a letter, folded. I look, she's gone because the whole people are leaving the plane. I never saw her again. As I got off the aeroplane, at Mascot, I opened it up, and I'm going to read you what the letter said. It's very short, and I'm half wrong because I can't remember word for word, but it's roughly this. Sir, I'm not going to tell you to have a good weekend because I don't know what you're going through. I'm not going to tell you to have a good day as I'm unsure what the tears are about. But sir, all I'm saying to you is, as the darkest days of grief slowly start to subside, the sun will rise again for you. For now, hold on. Just hold on. I don't know why, but I remember that letter because I remember how beautiful it is to have a random act of kindness where you're totally devastated. And I need you to know that often the people that you see aren't crying at their house, but they're crying on the inside. Understand they're going through pain. Real estate a lot of the times involves pain. Separations, health issues, financial issues. Be very mindful of it. That was in 2018, it's 2016, it's 2020, what is it now, 2024? 6 years ago. Has the sun, I'm trying to think, has the sun risen again for me? It has. It's great being healthy. I mean, I obviously miss my brother, devastated. I look at my mum, I stare right through her. She has never recovered. And I sort of get it, because I picture it happening to me with my daughters. But I share this story with you because fundamentally, at the end of the day, the scripts, the dialogues, the processes, the checklists are going to make you more organised, but fundamentally becoming a black belt of the mind and handling the punches in the face that are going to come along in your 20, 30-year journey is far more important. Most business problems are caused by non-business issues. Remember that. Most business problems are caused by things that are happening outside of the work. The loss of a loved one, an illness, your kids not talking to you, substance abuse, I don't know. Team, I want to thank Chris Gilmour as well. He's a sterling guy, and he was the first person I picked to speak at ARIC for 2024 because his content's amazing. You've got the ability to listen to him. My final words to you is never let your future be clouded by your past. Always choose to make a decision. Your future's going to be bigger than your past. Never let your personal history become your destiny. And always remember, what's coming is better than what's gone. May the rest of your life be the best of your life. Thank you so much.